Last time on Square Roots, Id, the dominant personality inside Faye, flies around and explodifies floating Sky Mall Solaris. A terrible tragedy. I didn't even get to pick up my Resurrection Aromatique hand wash at Aesop.
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Heyo, it's me, Matthew Van Zandt.
John Anima Brandon.
Now, this isn't the first game we've dealt with animas before.
They've mentioned it before, but I think they explained it in this one, right?
But I feel like Final Fantasy X had anima, or it had anima that was a boss.
Yeah,
Did they?
They had Aeons.
Yeah.
I thought Aeons were in... Oh, 10. Okay, 10 was Aeons.
Anima was Seymour's mother turned into
Oh,
an
that's
Aeon.
right, the chained one. Yeah. Fun. Also joined by Vanessa tonight.
Hello, that's me. You may have heard me mention Seymour's mother.
Suddenly,
And this is a podcast where we
Seymour.
play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this is part 9 of Xenogears. It's been a while since we had a game go this long.
It's almost done. I think that
We're close.
we're real close to the end because Matt was talking about some like final boss stuff that he's already got into. So yeah, we are getting close to the end.
Do you guys feel like by the end of this, if you got accosted in an alley by a very angry gamer who put his light gun to your head and said, "Explain to me what happens in Xenogears," in a way that makes sense.
I haven't gotten to
do you
the
feel
end
like
yet.
you could? Do you guys feel like you could do that?
Yeah, maybe ask us at the end of next episode. 'Cause
I could.
think-
Do you feel
I
like,
think I could
do you,
so
Do
far.
you feel like you could summarize the story so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think
Because a lot
so.
of what
don't-
happened
I don't
actually
feel like I
happened in
could.
the story doesn't really matter. It's just kind of like side episodes.
Most of it's
Like
not
you're gonna
like
go get
plot critical.
this,
Yeah.
or like, oops, you got captured and now you got to get out of this prison, and that's 10 hours. Okay, now let's get back into the plot.
Okay. All right.
Oh no, Faye's in a cloud coma.
Yeah.
I don't think I do a great job, to be honest.
Yeah, me either.
Honestly, Vanessa, I would love to hear you recap what
I do
happened.
that every week at
That's
the top
true.
of
That
the
would be
show.
That's
funny.
true. So I hear everyone's favorite segment is hot gaming news, HGN.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for some HGN?
I'm ready.
Vanessa, HGN time?
Yeah, I'm very ready for some HGN.
All right. Jim, start us off.
Sure. So during Summer Games Fest, they did announce the imminent release of a remake of The Last of Us. Not a remaster, which they already did. Not a re-release, which they've done a couple times already. A remake. They have remade it on current gen tech.
Wow.
That comes out, I think it's, when does that come out? March?
Sometime.
So it's
Sometime.
already done.
They did announce it. No, well, they did announce a release date. I don't know that it's soon, but they did put a release date on there, right?
We don't remember.
You know what? We can Google it. Last
That's
of Us.
not really our
remake.
style of journalism.
Release date. It's July. Oh wait, that's the that's the announcement of the remaster. July 29th, 2014. That is not in the future. Let's see. Oh, September.
Hey, that's pretty
Coming
soon.
September. Yeah, that's in just a few months. So
Wow.
keep an eye out for that. Yeah.
Jim, as the resident Last of Us, lover,
Sure.
I mean, this must be aimed at you, because I don't think anybody else in this group likes that game.
No, I'm excited because if they I think the first Last of Us on a current gen platform with the same kind of accessibility options that are in 2 would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think 1 is a way better game. 2 is good, but is a little too brutal for me. It's trying to make too much of a statement with its violence, which made me uncomfortable. But the first one is top to bottom really good and
Yeah.
fun to play. And if they make it better, that's good.
I would argue that it's not fun to play at all, and in fact, it's terrible to play. But
Oh, I
is
think it's really
a
fun to
good,
play.
kind of a good game overall, maybe. But
Yeah.
Yikes! I hated playing that game. Remember them?
It's
Remember how one of them couldn't swim and you had to push her around on the
On the
wood.
pallets.
on the pallets?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that was a
Yeah.
nightmare.
That was the worst part.
and the
but,
shooting
like,
was not good. So if they could just improve that, that would be, I think, a big step. Because the
because,
shooting, in my
well-
opinion, in that game was god awful. I mean, I was
Well,
just
that's what
terrible
I'm
at it,
saying.
but-
Like, if they put the second part's accessibility options, which
Yeah.
made aiming
Yeah, I got
and
that.
killing enemies just so easy, you could basically just be invisible the whole time. That game would be really, really, really fun, more than it already is. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know that it needs a remake, but it's kind of cool that they're making one. I
Yeah,
guess.
why not, man?
Not mad about it.
If they feel like it's, fuck it, remake everything. Remake Zelda.
But yeah, that's my gaming news. John, did you have any gaming news?
I just want to let everyone know there is a Humby Bundy sale, Summer 22 Capcom bundle, supporting ACLU and the Trevor Project. They do note that the Trevor Project does not endorse nor aid in the selection of games included in this bundle, just so you know. That includes Monster Hunter World, Devil May Cry 5, Devil May Cry HD Collection, 50%
Ooh, cool.
off Monster Hunter Rise, Street Fighter 5, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, DMC, Devil May Cry, the Ninja Theory reboot.
The kind of pretty okay, but people are annoyed by reboot.
Ultra
Didn't
Street
Ninja
Fighter
Theory
4.
also do a Metroid kind of reboot game? Maybe they're not very good.
No,
at
that
reboots.
was the other. That was Team Ninja.
Teen Ninja.
Yeah.
We had this discussion
Ninja
last
Theory
episode.
and
The
Team
difference
Ninja,
between
gotcha.
the two.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition upgrade kit for 50% off. I don't like these coupons being part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, that's
sucks.
kind of a bummer.
Strider and Bionic Commando. So that's if you pay
Those
at
are great
least
games.
$26. But yeah, a lot of great games. I have most of them, so I'm probably not going to get this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for
If you've been
$26 Canadian, that's a lot.
Sitting on any of those games waiting for them to be on sale, you can get it, support a great project, and get a bunch more on top of it.
Yeah, I think the ACLU does a lot of good things, and the Trevor Project definitely does a lot of good things. So there you go. That's my HGN. What about Matt or Vanessa?
Vanessa, it's Toon Time over at Netflix. Dragon
Time.
Age Absolution is coming this December.
That's exciting.
And that is about what?
It's a video game about the Dragon Age world.
A
Yep.
video game or a
It's a
Show.
It's
show.
a show. I'm sorry. It's a
an
cartoon. It's a
Animated
cartoon show, an
series
anime
on Netflix.
about the Dragon Age world.
sweet? Is it gonna
I
tie
read somewhere that they
into-
think it's going to tie into Dreadwolf, but I watched the trailer and it didn't really say much, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
It looked very elfy. I thought. I watched the trailer today too, and that makes me feel like it might tie into Dreadwolf a bit.
It's set.
Not to be spoilery, but
It's set
mean,
into Winter, which is the speculated setting for Dragon Age 4.
Gotcha.
oh, that's really cool.
You know, Netflix has a great track record with these things. They had the Castlevania, they had the Dota, and what's the other game?
League.
Yeah, League of Legends. 2 games you could not pay me to give a shit less about, and those shows are shockingly good. The Dragon's
Yeah,
Dogma
they're-
one
I-
is awful. So they're not.
really?
It's not all hits. Yes,
Like most
Dragon's
of
Dogma one is
most of
trash.
Netflix's output is garbage, but I feel like they have a really good run rate with their animated shows.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Like
They have a
I don't watch a
shockingly
lot
good-
of animation, but the ones that show up on Netflix are usually pretty good.
I don't watch a lot of their anime specific stuff, but I have to. But with the game adaptations, they've got a great track record. And if I can piggyback off of that, my hot gaming news is that they also announced Castlevania, the new series. I don't remember what it was titled. Castlevania : something.
Something. It's gonna be based on Richter.
Yeah, it's gonna be based around Richter. So there wasn't much. It was just a teaser trailer. But and now, thankfully, Warren Ellis creep free. I guess. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That was the right thing to do.
I think it's good that they're one centering on a new central character and two getting rid of Warren Ellis at the
Yep.
same time. It's gonna make the show feel super fresh, and that's
Yeah.
what that series needed.
I hope that they can. You have to. You have to keep your expectations in check. There's and it's got nothing to do with Warren Ellis, but there's no guarantee they can pull it off twice, because that fucking Castlevania series is way better than it has any right to be.
It's real good.
But I'm excited for it. Like, I'm definitely going to be watching it. Anyway, is that it for hot gaming news this week? Mm-hmm. Fastest hot gaming news ever. Mm-hmm. Who's wanting to level up?
Yeah, I do. I did so many unique things that none of you have done. I've been playing Sea of Thieves. I watched The Boys.
What?
I
Hang
watched
on.
Young Justice.
Oh,
and,
no. Did you finish it?
I got super into The Quarry. And
Quarry?
that's everything that I've done.
The Quarry?
Yeah. I did finish Young Justice. I watched the last episode of the season. I thought it was very good and satisfactory. I saw someone, I think on Facebook, talking about how the show was misnamed, and I think that's true because they aren't very young anymore. It's mostly about adults in their 20s. And it's a good
They're still
show.
the younger generation.
Yeah, I think that's
From the
case.
or it's about the younger generations and not the prime generation that's still. But you're right. You're not wrong.
Good
Time
show.
for a name change.
Feels
Justice.
very comic booky. I always think it feels like the most comic booky of the comic book shows.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it does, because it kind of doesn't hesitate to reach into the weirdness of DC and just kind of throw something at you.
Right. Well, and it follows a whole bunch of other, like, different characters. It will jump around between story points, like you were reading, like 3 or 4 comics in the same arc. So I enjoy that. It's a good show. Like it. Caught up on The Boys as well.
Wait. So do you think they should do a 5th season of Young Justice?
I don't think it would be a problem to do it.
Yeah.
But I also think it would be a fine place to stop for the most part. They had like
that's
a
kinda what I
little
was
bit of a dangling thread.
I mean, it's a huge thread. It's a huge dangling thread. They
Yeah.
definitely went ahead and put in a post-credits scene that said, here's next season.
Right. I do want to shout out one kind of unusual thing. It's a comic book that I haven't read all of, so I guess take the recommendation with a grain of sand, but everybody's favorite Batman, Kevin Conroy, wrote a piece for the DC Pride series called Finding Batman, and it's a biographical comic about his time voicing Batman on Batman the Animated Series and how that helped him come to terms with himself as a gay man and living an out life. And what I've seen of it is real, real good. He's
I
definitely
didn't know
my
that he
favorite
was
Batman.
a gay man.
He just started to live publicly with it a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
which is, I think, especially, well, I mean, everyone's entitled to a private life, but for a voice actor, it was kind of surprising because I feel like they have more flexibility to live the way they want to, you know?
Yeah.
Not have to kind of worry about that part of career, but it just goes to show you never know what people are going through until they write a comic about it. But it's very much about living life behind a mask and feeling like he had to hide his identity and how he let that influence his performances, Batman and Bruce Wayne.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. It's gotten really, really good reception. And look for that at your local comic book shop or, I guess, on the digital comic reader. I don't know how to read comics. Matt knows how to.
Comicsology.
Yeah. And
Give all your money to Amazon.
I guess that's all I did. I haven't done very much. I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once again today. Still good.
Oh, cool.
Still a great movie. Love it. 10 out of 10. Johnny, how did you level up?
Okay, well, I don't want to stomp all over Matt talking about pirates, but did get to play a lot of pirates this week, and I was very enjoying that.
We very enjoy it.
Yes, Pirates is fun.
By pirates,
Did
I
we
mean
talk about Pirates last week?
no. So,
No.
I'll say that for your level up, Matt, if you want, because I have other stuff.
Talk about whatever you want, bud.
ordered an upgrade. My PC's now 5 years old, which means, it's basically garbage.
It's time for it to go to kindergarten.
It's time for it to go to kindergarten while I get a new baby PC to play my latest video games on with the greatest basically graphics card prices are plummeting for some reason. It's like some people were hoarding them for some kind of terrible, environmentally destructive reason. And now,
man, that's pretty cryptic what you're talking about.
yeah, I don't know why suddenly you can buy a 30. I got a computer with a i9 and a 3080 for $1,600 US, which is pretty good, I'd say.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
So
Just
that's
normal
gonna
market fluctuations, I'm sure.
Just a free market doing its thing.
So I definitely think if anyone's been holding off because of weird environmental pressures and chip shortages on getting a computer, now is a great time to get a gaming PC. If you want to get a gaming PC, they are coming down in prices. So that's one thing that I'm very excited about. What else was I? I definitely had something else on my list. Let me double check here. Oh yeah, everyone's crazy for that AI software that lets you make a Seinfeld.
DALL-E.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? You can do a thing. If you want Seinfeld to eat at a Burger King with Shrek, then you can make it happen.
I had Zangief cameo on Seinfeld. It was pretty great. I just like how much fun everyone's having with it. I've seen a couple of people say like, "Oh, why is this filling my timeline?" It's because people are having fun. Don't worry.
I know.
Yeah,
It'll be done in a week.
I saw the best tweet earlier before we started recording that was like, the AI isn't real. I'm the guy sitting under the desk drawing all these sketches that you type into the, type into the thing. He's like, you're torturing me all day.
I saw a good one with Pyramid Head in Silent Hill.
I saw that
in
too.
Seinfeld. That was great. My friend's been doing all his favorite characters in Silent Hill. That's been wonderful. Strongly recommend the DALL-E AI. It's
DALL-E Mini specifically. That's the open source one that people are having fun with.
What about Matt? How did you level up?
I'm a pirate. Did you guys know that?
I did know that.
Yeah, we knew that
Yarr.
because we too are also pirates.
Yes,
We all downloaded Sea of
have...
Thieves, and we've been playing it all week, and everybody loves it and loves being a pirate, and we have very silly stories to share about singing to people and befriending
Oh yeah,
bad pirates.
we should
and-
tell the not Paul story because that one's wonderful.
Real Paul. Yeah, we were playing and on this island, and I found what I took to be a graphical glitch or perhaps a deceased enemy, but it just looked like a person lying in the grass. And so I stood over it and I'm like, oh, there's like a person lying in the grass over here. And Johnny came and looked at it. And then the person was like, no, there's not. And it sounded like our friend Paul, who we play the pirate game with. So I was like, oh, it's just Paul. And then the person goes, yep, it's Paul. It's me, Paul. Here's Paul. And then they got up and started walking around and announcing, like, Paul is having this fruit. Paul's walking over here. And then Paul came back to our ship with us.
Meanwhile, Paul and I were on the ship, and we were listening. We could not hear the person they were talking to because it's proximity based.
Yeah.
So Paul and I were very loudly yelling at them, "That's not Paul! That's not Paul! That's not Paul! Get the fuck out of there!"
And we did get Paul on the ship for a little while. He did milkshake duck himself pretty quickly because it is a guy from the internet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what a delightful start.
For whatever reason, fake Paul had a problem with real Paul, I believe, because he had at that point decided to replace him. So they really didn't get on very
That
well.
and the fact that once Paul was smart enough to realize that letting somebody random onto the ship was probably a really bad idea, particularly somebody that very quickly milkshake ducked themselves and was threatening to blow the ship up anytime we did not agree with what they had to say.
Yeah.
But
He
John
did
and
come
Vanessa
back
were
later.
determined to make friends.
We were, and I think that Real Paul got a little bit upset with our tendency to want to make friends. But then he came back again later and sailed his little ship next to us, and he's like, "Hey, friends, come over here."
He
And
did
I
get
was at
killed.
the helm, so I did do that, and yeah, we got killed.
That game is a lot of nonsense, and I really enjoy that. I think my favorite thing is when Vanessa discovered the not microphone. What do you call that thing? Megaphone.
The
Megaphone?
megaphone.
Vanessa discovering the megaphone was maybe one of my favorite things to happen ever.
Yeah.
I just like to say hello to my friends on the friendly seas.
Vanessa shouting off the side of the ship. Also, we did have some fun. Once you're done, you can't keep your ship, so we decided to burn our ship to the ground, and then we played it under the waves. We played it down because
Played musical
everybody
instruments.
played musical instruments, and we played it and got drunk on the beach. And then none of us quite wanted to hang up yet, so we kind of kept getting character drunk. And once our ship was gone, a new ship popped into the harbor from somebody starting out, and so I guess anyway. So we went, and the four of us went and sat on this random person's boat and played music until they came, and we wished them well.
Yeah, they did a
And
little
then I think
dance
they
to our
killed you.
music, and then they did kill me.
Yeah.
But the game is very, very low stakes. Like you're not
Yeah.
acquiring experience points. You go get loot, you bring it back and sell it. If you don't have any loot, there's really no penalty for dying. And even if you do have loot, there's very little penalty for dying. You can go get more loot
Yeah.
anytime, and you don't sell it for better equipment or anything like that. It's just all aesthetic.
It's
So,
all, yeah.
It's a really fun, casual multiplayer game.
It feels like the more people, the better. And it
Yes.
feels like trying more to focus on just getting up to bullshit and having fun is a better time than actually trying to play the game and collecting loot, because there's not a lot to do there.
You can tell that the game was kind of, it hasn't hit it, but it was designed to have just a shitload of people playing it. Because if you started out in a busy harbor with a bunch of ships, that would be pretty dope. But
I don't know that
when
you
you
can.
start out,
I
it
don't know
doesn't
if
Yeah.
really
it
seem.
work that way.
I think the
only
servers
one
are
ship
maximum.
can
They
be in a
should
harbor
work
at a
that
time.
way.
5 or 6 ships, human ships at a time.
Yeah, yeah. Then maybe the game just isn't designed very well.
Well-
maybe I feel like it needs more of that stuff.
I think it's just not. It has a PvP element, but that's not its major focus.
Right. But people will pirate
What
your
is
stuff.
the focus though?
Well, but
And-
all the stuff that they added in, isn't that all stuff they added in afterwards? Basically all the missions and stuff? Wasn't the
Yeah.
original game just kind of here's a boat, here's a ship,
No, it
here's
was
a crew?
just multiplayer.
Yeah,
and then they put
that's what I'm
the
saying. There's always
Oh,
just
Jack Sparrow
multiplayer.
single player in.
And
Yeah,
then
it
they
started
added
out
in all this
just multiplayer,
other
yeah.
stuff post fact. The game initially. What? Why are you in here?
I feel
There
like
is-
sailing the ship for me is my favorite part because it does take
Yeah.
a whole
It's
crew
satisfying.
to sail your ship.
There is a learning curve there too, with steering it around and stuff. It's really cool.
I would
Yeah.
like to see the gameplay elements from this really lifted into other RPGs. I think that
Yeah.
gamifying the world a bit more is a great idea, and is a lot more fun than jamming in more fetch side quests or
Yeah.
more rando enemies on the maps between cities and shit, or more of the same cave. When
Well, it's
you
cool
can
'cause,
do things like just kind of gamify getting around.
I like how while you're playing organically, people will go doing stuff that needs to be done. Because if you get fired on, you can get a hole in your boat, but you also need to fire at the other ship, and you also need to steer to make sure you're not going to hit a rock. So everybody just kind of gravitates to those places, and it's fun how all that stuff just kind of happens.
Yeah, it was super fun for me when you and Paul were exploring an island and I was bailing out the ship by myself for 10 minutes. Well, you guys kept going, there's no wood on this island, there's no wood on this island. Once you came back, I got off the ship, and what did I find, Jim, within
A
30
lot of wood.
seconds? A lot of wood.
Friend of the show, Chief Hazard, showed me a bunch of the game. He explained there is a hardcore end game kind of thing to do where you're leveling up your contracts. And this again is something you can only do per game. So when you log out, it all resets. But basically,
wow.
if you get to like a level 5 with a merchant, then he explained this, so I can't remember exactly. There's something you can level up to level 5 with by doing contracts, and then you're so good at it that you get like a massive multiplier on any gold you get, but you appear on the map so that any other player can know that you have lots of treasure and you get like the best contracts, but you also now are very visible to everyone else.
That. What you do is you rank up with each of the vendors. You know, there's the gold guy, the souls person, the merchant people, and there's a few others, Golden Sands and the Reapers. And as you do missions for them, you rank up, and then you can unlock like higher ranks. And eventually, which we can even do now, you can decide to fly under the flag of one of the factions, and that lets you see anybody else flying under the flag of your enemy faction on the map. But then they can also see you, I guess. So yeah, there is kind of a hardcore mode for that.
So
that's kind of what I was doing a bit of. I told you guys I was ranking up the
target other guild people.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sort of still just getting the mechanics. Like it took me a while to figure out the navigation, which I think is probably the hardest part of sailing the ship.
For sure.
Being the navigator.
It does feel like a suit to me, like a souped up version almost of like the sailing around in Wind Waker, but in a great way.
It's great. I just want to sail around with my pals. Let's get this podcast done so we can sail around sometime. I know we're all busy tonight, but
yeah. Sorry, tonight I've got a contract to work on.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't have
available.
to do D&D tomorrow.
I'll hit him up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he might be. He's been sitting around playing PUBG by himself all day.
We're streaming the Quarry.
Oh, are you?
That's what we're doing.
Talk about your level up, Jim. How did you level up?
Yeah, it's my turn. So the Quarry came out, which is very exciting. The Quarry is the new game from Supermassive, being published by 2K. That's basically it's not connected to the Dark Painters anthology, but it's from the Until Dawn developer.
Yeah, they said that it was their attempt to do another Until Dawn, and not a smaller episodic game, but a bigger game like Until Dawn.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and like to be honest, I played like probably an hour and a half of it last night. It has the production quality is awesome. The game looks great, and like kind of got rid of most of the Vanessa might disagree, but like I feel like they got rid of a lot of the really uncomfortable. I'm obviously looking at a computer cartoon like issues from House of Ashes. Like I thought the actors were, because like Ashley Tisdale in House of Ashes does not look like Ashley Tisdale. It was like a cartoon of Ashley Tisdale.
Right.
Like actors before you knew who they were, like I could recognize them from other stuff. I was like that guy from the beginning, I was like, oh, that's the kid from Righteous Gemstones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I couldn't recognize him by name. And like there were a lot of performances like that. So like I feel it kind of like leveled up its production quality a bit. Though in the hour and a half I played, I feel like I did like 5 QTEs. It seems to be really kind of taking its time.
It feels way more movie than game, which is fine because I was watching it like totally. A movie. I just put your stream up on my television and kicked back with some chips.
I heard that the actual like movement was not great in this one. Like
it feels like every other one of those games.
Yeah.
Oh
they
yeah.
all feel clunky.
Like to me, like if anything, it was the same or maybe a little bit better. I think what really hindered it in the time I played it was the camera angles were really shitty. It was like trying to do like enemy cam and all that stuff, and just trying to steer through some of those cinematic camera angles is tough in that kind of game. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing the rest of it. It seems to be getting really good reviews. So
you already streamed some?
Yep, I streamed about an hour and a half last night. I'll stream more tomorrow, but I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really fun to play, and it's really cool playing it for a little audience. So thanks for everyone who's checked out the stream so far.
Yeah, we were going to play it together, but the multiplayer release got delayed.
Yeah, mid-July for that.
Well, we didn't really talk about The Boys. Does anybody want to talk about that, or should we just move?
Move on. We talked about it last week.
They know what it is.
We talked about it before we started recording, so none of us needs to talk about it. Vanessa kept saying, stop, save it.
Save it for the show.
She was right. It's good. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Already picked up for a 4th season, so that's good.
That whole cast is so charming. Like they all did that 4 thing on Twitter. That was really neat.
I like it a lot. I kind of want to see it kind of tell its story and get out. I don't want to see this thing keep dragging it out for 10 seasons or something. Like, let's just 5 seasons, 4 seasons, hell. Just tell your story and get done.
Homelander can only be threatening for so long.
Yeah,
Jim,
they can only drag it out for so long. They got to kill his
Yeah.
ass at some point, and they're already, it feels like they're barreling towards that.
Yeah, for sure.
Jim,
Oh, I
is
did
all-
have something I wanted to say about the boys. I forgot.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, please.
Here's what I want to say about the boys. I watched Supernatural. Everyone knows this. I haven't made it a secret. I'm not ashamed.
You love them boys from Supernatural.
Let's not go overboard with it.
Jameson, Hackles, and what's the other guy's name?
I don't know.
Come on.
Jadlack.
Mr. Padalecki.
Jadlack.
Oh, that's
Panucci.
Pachinko.
Yeah, Jadlack Pachinko.
Pachinko machine.
And I understand that that show has a fan base. Everyone knows that because they're scary. But the show has really been leaning into, like, this season we got the Jensen Ackles. And it feels a little bit not organic. And I know that, like, it's a Eric Kripke show, and that's part of it. But, like, every day the Amazon Twitter's, like, tweeting pictures of
It feels like
Jensen
you don't think he
Ackles.
does. It feels like you don't think Jensen Ackles deserves this level of
I don't think he's been in the
anticipation.
season that much. They're just
He
hyping him up
hasn't,
because
yeah.
he's a featured character in the
does not
season.
think Vanessa does not think Jensen Ackles has earned it.
No, I just...
I don't think he's a very good actor, so I don't disagree with her. It could have been anybody. But hey,
Well, I mean,
Jameson Hackles. I don't know.
he's known for one project, which,
Hopefully he gets-
granted, was a significant project. Supernatural was on forever.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the My Bloody Valentine 3D remake. that he
I'm
was in.
sorry, he's known for...
I thought she was talking about
One
Walker
of
Texas
the-
Ranger.
one of
Isn't this
one
guy
of the
Walker Texas
worst-
Ranger?
No, that's the
One
other
of
one.
the worst horror movies ever made is the Jensen Ackles My Bloody Valentine remake. It's fucking awful.
So, what was the one that David Boreanaz made? I feel like that was also
Oh, Valentine.
Valentine-based.
Wasn't that Valentine?
It was.
It was Valentine, yeah.
I saw all these in the
What
theater.
about the
all
one with
of
Bon
them.
Jovi? Come on, guys. Remember the Bon Jovi horror movie?
That was Vampires 2 Los Muertos.
I thought he was in. I thought it was like. Fuck, I don't know. You know what? I'm
Critters
sure you're
2?
Yeah.
Right. No,
Taking over in the
Cry
Vampires.
Wolf or something? Wasn't that Bon Jovi? Or
No,
Wolf?
that was. Oh my gosh, who was that? I know what you're talking about. No, there was a Robert Englund one where. No, that was Urban Legend, where he's like, "I'm the urban legend teacher. Remember me?" And it's Robert Englund.
Yeah. Anyway,
But-
this has gone wildly off
Yeah,
base. Vanessa, you
anyway.
were saying?
I do feel that some of the way that they've been presenting this new character has felt a little inorganic to me because it's attached to this actor who they're obviously hyping up to bring that fan base over. That would be my one note about the show. I feel it's a
Boy, I
little...
think they're going to brutally murder him before the end of the season.
Well, that would fit with what they've done in the past. But haven't you noticed that, Matt? Like, Supernatural had a tendency when some character came back or something that hadn't been on the show for a while, they'd hold the frame on them and be like, dun, dun,
I didn't watch Supernatural.
And I feel
I
like
spent
that's
many
creeping into
hours
this.
being force-fed Charmed and Angel. I did not watch Supernatural. That's all I can say. So I don't know what
I'll
you're talking
happily watch Charmed.
about. I mean, I pretty happily watched Charmed. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie about it.
Johnny, you know about film. Back me up here.
Wait, what was the question?
All right.
I just
let's
don't.
move on
I mean,
to
I'm
the
not
quest
saying you're
log.
wrong. I can't personally say that I have felt the same. Unfortunately, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I haven't really noticed as much. He really hasn't been in it much. They've talked about him a lot, but they've been talking about him since before this season. He's been a big name.
Oh,
the
has he?
character.
Maybe I forgot because I haven't been
In this,
watched the old
in
ones.
the small amount that they've shown so far, he's been pretty funny. That
I
little
re-
flashback in episode 3 was pretty funny.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that
I mean, that
there's
whole
a
thing is
problem with
brutal.
him. I'm just saying
Jesus.
that, I feel like
Vanessa, he deserves it. Let Jensen Ackles have this.
he has everything already.
Just that these feelings are going to get paid off when he gets brutally murdered. So just wait.
true.
You got to be patient.
I
You'll be
don't-
But then
so
it'll all
happy
be
when he
for
dies.
nothing.
Oh, please. They'll do something with it. That show, I rewatched it before watching the new season, and I gotta be honest with you, like, the amount of shit they pack into, not just every season, but every episode, is crazy. Particularly that first season. Every episode has a major event. It's wild. Second season slows down a little bit, but, like, dang. All right.
Yeah, maybe I just get salty when Huey's not on screen.
I could see that.
Whenever Huey's not on screen, everyone should be asking, where's Huey?
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, so quest log. One thing we forgot to mention until Vanessa mentioned it is Solaris looks like it exploded, but then none of the cutscenes seem to reference that it exploded. So I'm very confused.
No, it
Well,
does
you get
for
the-
sure. You watch
get
that
the
fucking
cuts-
thing explode.
Yeah, there's a cutscene. It's not long, but you see.
I'll
Solaris
tell you
exploding.
what I think the problem is. Solaris continues to exist as like a nation in the story with like a standing army, and it doesn't make sense because we all thought it was just that floating city, and that thing fucking blew up.
And
So
where's
I guess
the computer?
Maybe it makes sense that like maybe this is their like army that's left, and they're just like fuck it, like our fucking homeland's gone. We're just a fucking army now.
Yeah, but
I did not understand it.
Those
either.
floating, the Gavel Ministry's still around, so I guess they didn't explode. And they keep
They're
talking.
not in Solaris. Were they?
I assumed they
They're
were.
just data, John.
They clearly were not because they have not moved, and Solaris
I thought they were.
definitely blew up.
And like the Emperor Kane's still alive. Everyone's still alive, basically, other than all those people you saw explode when
I don't
Faye
think
in the
they're on
form of
Solaris. I
Id
think they're on their own ship or something.
He like
they're
knocked
not.
over all the support struts in like a little freak out, and the city crashed to the. So I don't
It's
understand.
actually a great cutscene. You watch
Yeah.
this thing, like the wings or whatever, like they're almost like propellers, but they don't spin, but they start to break off, and then the thing just fucking plummets and explodes.
Yeah,
It even says on the screen that the city explodes. Like,
yeah.
it's not a joke. So it happens. So I was confused too because Solaris continues to. It's almost like they forgot that they blew the city up. So what the fuck are they talking about?
I don't know. So I'd heard about a guy in the meme about Xenogears is the second disc is a guy in a chair just tells you what happened. I thought it'd be
shit.
I thought it was that you were going to like encounter a guy who explains the backstory, not that many major events of the game are told in like little screen grabs while Faye or Elly sit in a chair and tell you what happened in the game instead of actually
It's
playing
wild.
it.
The game
That's
stops here. This is where the game
nuts.
stops being a game, legitimately.
Yeah, it stops being a game,
From this
yeah.
point on, this is not a game anymore. It's just a visual novel that you get to participate in a little bit.
It's like it's like Xenogears 2 sketched out. Like it's not
wild
a game.
how so much of this
it's
stuff
it's like the
is
Radical
like-
Dreamers. It's like
That's a good
It's
point.
less
Why did they
interactive.
Radical
just-
Dreamers.
Why did they just end the game and say to be continued? You had a decent game here.
Yeah.
But instead they did this. And it's wild because all the things that happen here, each feels like an episode from like a show. Like none of it feels super connected overall until we kind of get. Some of it does, but like the way that like we go and get each animus, basically, like it's very weirdly episodic.
Yeah, and it doesn't start with you going like you're no longer on the world map anymore. You're not going to towns anymore. You're just like walking into places. Maybe like sometimes it'll say they went here. They went to the secret underground lab, and you're in the secret underground lab. But sometimes
So
it's
it'll
like
cut. So what you're saying is it'll cut between Faye or Elly in a fucking rocking chair on a blank like black star field with like almost like a big TV next to them that'll show like one static image.
Yeah.
And then there's also a fucking swinging like pendant behind them that they just wasted a ton of time making, I guess, because
It
that's
looks
going to
real
make
good.
this scene better. Yeah,
Yeah, it
for
looks
10
fine.
seconds, and then it's absurd and obnoxious.
And
It's
you can
neat
tell
for
they
one
had
full minute.
started making these scenes because there's like stills of what the scene would look like, and the character describes what happens. This is insane.
So, and it'll
they
just
did
cut
animate
from
some of
that.
it because sometimes it shows them moving in those backgrounds in the back.
That's
too,
true.
so-
That's true. But so
Yeah.
then it'll cut from that sitting in the chair scene to like, we went to Gavel City or whatever, and then your party will be at the city, and maybe you'll get to navigate Faye through a room. But for the most part, you just see your characters sitting there and having a conversation, and then it goes back to the black screen in the fucking rocking chair, and then it cuts again, and you're like, well, let's get through it. Let's go through it, I guess. I don't want to spoil it all. I'm talking through it all up front, but it's wild. The way that this thing is done is, I'm a little worried about the next episode.
I think the next episode is just the ending, basically.
John, I think there might be a lot more hours left of cutscenes than you realize.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
Yeah. Let me put it this way.
Let's just do it, though. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It's easy for me. Hopefully
so
it's not. Hopefully I'm wrong.
Start with Faye sitting in a chair in the middle of space with the spotlight. Behind him are screenshots of the game that we, if they'd had time, would have made. Again,
it's like the occasional anime
bonkers.
cut, like anime pic of one of the characters, like Faye, and maybe like his lips will move. Maybe like it's bonkers.
There was that anime thing, but first Faye says, I won't do the whole thing, but Faye says, dreaming. I was dreaming. Perhaps it may have been a long-forgotten memory, a dream, a memory. Things remembered when one is asleep, things forgotten when one is awake. Where's the deepest layer of memories becomes the outmost layer of one's dreams, which are reality, which are illusions. One cannot tell until one awakes, or perhaps they are at the same time both truth and fiction.
All right.
A vast nebulous with
you
no
said you
bound.
weren't gonna do
Okay. But the funny thing is that when it switches to Elly, it does the exact same thing, and you see the same scene.
I like some of that, and we can talk
me
about
too.
that, but we're not there yet. So let's actually get through it.
We are
Because
pretty much
Solaris
there.
explodes. Well, so Solaris explodes, right? And we're flying away, and there's a whole bit here where like Elly and Faye like escape because Faye is locked up by
Elly?
Elly?
Oh, yeah,
Simon?
Faye's in the prison, and I forgot all of it. Honestly, that whole part, I was sober. I was just tired and really trying to get through it. I don't remember what happens.
But the point is they talk about breaking out, and then they break out, and Citan shows up and gives them Veltal, and so they do. I don't remember why. Like, basically, they were like, so we've learned that well, we learned that, we talked about this last episode, we learned that Id and Faye are the same person and all that backstory, yada, yada. So Faye at this point is very much like ennui, like, I guess I'm just destined to be a fucking monster that's going to kill God. Mm-hmm. And, but Elly comes and breaks him out, and they get into the Weltall and the Walter, and they fly away, and almost immediately, who runs across them?
Ramses.
It's Ramses.
And he's way better now.
Speaking of the boys, Ramses is very much a Homelander character in this, actually. Like, there's all this talk about how he was created in a lab to be Faye, but then Faye was
characteristics,
born.
right? He's like, in Twins, he's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Faye is Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Except for, I think Faye is like a natural born person, and I think that Ramses is a lab-born child.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's a real fucking Homelander, legit. So, but he does, he attacks, and he does defeat you quickly and knock Weltall out of the sky, and we like land, and it blacks out. And that's when we get the first like chair cutscenes. And this is where we get the whole long thing, I think, where
Elly and Faye are in the past.
What are their names? Where they're
Lacan and Sophia.
Lacan, yes, where he's the painter, and we get all of this. So we get all this backstory of like
Elly.
it's almost like it's like a Hawkman situation where they're like reincarnating into the same people, basically, like different bodies but same people.
It's a fountain scenario. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
And so he's like a painter, and she's like a noble woman, and blah blah blah. But you get some fun stuff here where like you see things from his perspective, and he's so nervous, and like he's in love with her, and he just wants to be with her, but he's making excuses to drag things out so he doesn't have to leave her, and yada yada yada. And then you see it from the other perspective, and she's doing the same thing, and it's kind of cute.
Yeah,
because they kind of both.
She was a like religious girl, and he was a painter boy, and she's like, "See you later, boy."
He was a painter boy.
He wasn't good enough for her.
No, that's not the case. They loved each other.
Oh,
and we see
okay.
a little bit, they talk a little bit of other lifetimes as well. And so, and then Faye does wake up in Dr. Tora's house.
Yep.
And this guy loves nanomachines.
He does. It looks like a back to tank from a Star Wars, and let's just talk about that. Let's just get this out of the right way. You see Faye's penis.
We didn't. We tried. We couldn't. We did.
Yeah. You see it. You see a still.
Full frontal zoodity.
Yep.
It appears to be 1 pixel long.
Yep.
So they did not.
Yeah,
I appreciate them not trying to overcompensate.
Most
Like,
anime
it's
men
fine.
on average, they're 1 pixel long, Matt.
Yeah, I'm saying I appreciate. That's what I'm saying, Jim.
At least
I'm agreeing
flaccid.
with you. I appreciate the fact that they went like realistic and not like didn't give him just a big old hanging dong.
He's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say
Who
that
are you
we
fucking
see
kidding?
it.
That's a micro penis.
No, that's pretty normal. Especially in a cool like those nano machines are probably pretty cold.
He was in the pool.
Vanessa, what do you have to say about this?
Listen. I don't want to downplay. You say we see it. There was
see
effort
it.
made. Yeah,
Yeah?
but no, it's not like y'all just saw it and you're like, hey, there it is. There was zooming. There was photo enhance. You guys really did a deep dive into whether or not you get to see face.
Don't drag me
penis.
into this.
Yeah.
I did record a video of when I reached the scene. My reaction is my live reaction to it, just like a YouTuber would. And it's me zooming, by zooming, just moving my phone closer to the pixel dick and back out and going, look at that face cock. Yeah.
I feel like Jim
Hogs
was really
out.
instrumental as well, wasn't he?
Well, he did provide that clean,
They did
unaltered
provide
Photoshop.
the high res.
Yeah.
So
So-
this guy tells us that he loves nanomachines and that he's going to release nanomachines into the whole world, into the atmosphere, because that will unseal all the humans.
Well, good.
Like he's about
Nothing
to
bad could happen
unseal
with that,
Faye,
right?
That's
which he
fun.
does. He unseals Faye. No idea what that means, but he also upgrades your mech with a bunch of nanomachines, making you even tougher than before.
Wow, do you get to play as the mech anymore?
Yeah, once
briefly in Animus Dungeon
Oh, sweet.
A or B.
Yeah, you get to. There are some very short dungeons where you do get to jump back and forth between being in the mech and being in the.
I did have. There is
out of the mech a
one.
bit, and I really like that stuff.
There's one terrible dungeon featuring a double jump you have to do. That
Ew.
and if you fail it, you got to go through like 3 random encounters to do it again. And it's like this game wants me to hate it.
Yeah,
Like it's really trying
mean-
hard. Well, except that it's not trying hard because
I mean at least the dungeons
they
are
didn't
short
make
and
the
sweet,
second
right?
half.
Yeah.
It was
It's
a
not
short.
asking anything of you anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so,
it's short. Yeah.
We decide he beefed us up, and we're gonna head out basically. Like I don't know.
I like
There's
how
some
he's
scenes
like,
with-
We've been used to wearing
Ellie's
goose
wounds
suits.
were
Yeah.
far worse than yours, so she'll have to be in the back to tank for a little longer. Ding! There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this though. It gets really weird. I want to get into it though. It's fun. So, but not this because not a lot happens. We
Well,
agree
so
that
let's
this is a great
describe
plan
Tora.
for him to let the. Oh yeah, Tora is. I think. I don't know what the fuck Tora is.
He
He's not
looks
human.
like. Do you
He
remember?
seems to be outside of all of the other characters in this game? He seems to be like an alien, or maybe one of the original inhabitants of this world.
Yeah. Do you remember Marlon Brando in what was that movie with the animals? Dr. McCabe's.
Yeah, Dr.
Island.
Dr.
Island of Dr.
The island of
Moreau.
Dr. Moreau.
Did you
Yeah.
guys say are you guys talking about Tora Melchior?
Yeah. Named after Melchior, one of the 3 wise men, I believe.
One of the 3 sages of Shavat, this says.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I really was not clear on what this man was,
But he does look like Marlon
He
Brando
looks like a
in
new
Island.
from Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
Do you
a little
remember
bit.
the news
Yep.
from Chrono Trigger?
Gotcha.
He's a new from Chrono Trigger with a robe on, is what it
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah, no, I'm with John. He looks like Marlon Brando in The Island of Dr. Moreau.
He
Like
does.
he's just
Yeah.
nothing but like a fat white bald head.
Yeah.
He's creepy as fuck. But he's got a great plan that we just agreed to, and he lets us
Nothing
go.
bad.
We get out.
Now, this plan sounds great. Releasing these nanomachines and letting everyone experience their full potential. There's not going to be any downside to this plan.
Oh
right?
no, definitely not going to be any downside. There's definitely going to be some downside though. But we're going to get to that because first we have to fight Ramses again.
Yeah.
Leave. Basically, we leave exactly where Ramses shot us down, and he just kind of, I guess, is still hanging around several days later. Even though the cutscene does not imply that, it implies that he just kind of anyway. He hunts us down, and this is one of those things where like it goes from cutscene to fight with Ramses, straight into the fight,
Yeah.
to cutscene. Like there is no gameplay in between other than you selecting your attack maybe once or twice.
And again, most of these cutscenes are still images with your characters literally sitting in a chair in front of them telling you what happened.
But you do get to fight Ramses, and you do put him down, which is exciting.
But he's not dead.
No, he's not dead. He's going to come back. He's got more to do.
Yeah. And you're like, we don't need to fight you. Why do you keep doing this? Why are you so obsessed with Faye? He's like, yeah, Faye.
He kind of seems to get pushed into a corner of like, maybe I'm not the good guy here, but does not come to any sort of good revelation, just kind of vanishes or whatever, cut scenes away. We get some more chair talking. John loves chair talking.
I do. And you also find out that Graf was the one who brought Faye and his girl to Torah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's, and also, I think Torah does call Graf Lacan, which does mean that the painter guy from those 500 years ago is still alive, and it's Graf. So there's 2 Fays?
What? No.
I think so. I think Graf is a Fae.
People can have the same name as other people.
But he looked just, yeah, that's true. You know what? That is 100% true. That's just my guess. Then you get a great Gazelle ministry scene. Can this be the only one we do this chunker?
All right. Well, before you do that, though, I want to say that in the chair talking, there's an important fact that needs to be addressed, which is that due to the nano machines being released into the atmosphere, when I don't know, whatever the fuck happened there. It was all in a cutscene. But anyway, due to the nanomachines being released into the atmosphere, a percentage of the population is now turning into mutants.
Yep.
And this weirdly also gets resolved in the cutscene where it's just like people started turning into mutants, and we went here and we got medicine and it was cool, and then the medicine actually kind of worked, and it didn't work on everybody. There were still mutants, but not everybody was mutants. So people started turning into mutants. We fucked up, but we kind of solved it. So anyway, other things happened. It's
So
fucking,
this isn't
it just blows through.
It's the second time where everyone, spoiler alert, they get turned back into mutants again, and that's the time
well, that's
where
coming. That's coming. That's
okay.
even better. But we also, I think, in this cutscene, I also believe is when we get.
Oh, actually,
Yes,
this
it's
this isn't the Gravel Ministry one I want to do.
Well, the point. Okay, that's fine. But my point is
yeah.
that I think before that we get. They also in the cutscene are like, also we discovered a giant super weapon that under Bart's city that Bart rules, and ooh, cool! It actually attaches to the Idricell. Did you guys know that? This is all in a fucking cutscene. It's like it attaches to the Idricell. It's super cool, and then it cuts away to like a legitimately like 3-minute scene.
It's
of
pretty
the
awesome.
Fucking Voltron thing forming. It is pretty awesome, but it also feels like, what are you doing? Why is this here?
I
And
don't
you do get a
know.
fight. You do get to do like a fight where again all you do is it's you defeat the Solaris military's like
Oh, that big twirly thing.
destroying weapon. Yes,
Yeah.
it's got like a giant silver ball with like a million little tentacle-y things on it,
Right.
or like blades. I don't know, but you do get to fight that. But again, you attack once and it goes down, and it just slides out of that into the next cutscene. Fucking crazy.
So the first Gazelle Ministry scene that I won't read is basically them talking about saying that Ramses is trash. And they all agree that Ramses is trash. They're just talking with Krellian. It's pretty great.
They said that about Faye earlier, didn't they?
Yeah, but they seem to really mean it about, Ramses. And yeah, that battleship was pretty incredible. So you destroy the mobile weapon, and that's when. So as soon as they destroy that mobile weapon, that's when disaster struck. Our songs of victory were replaced by the sounds of total pandemonium. In the beginning, we had no idea what transpired. We witnessed unexplainable phenomena. People from all parts of the globe began to mutate into abnormal forms. Yes. And so then there is a wonderful scene where Miang and Miang asks Krellian to spare Ramses because she's like, he can be useful. And they're talking about the Ark of God, and humans are our initial response to, or all these mutations in humans are a response to this virus that they're spreading over the world that will make everyone to become like a big biomass to like host the god that they want to return.
Yeah,
and that's what
it's the same god they've been talking about the whole time. Anytime they say god, they're talking about this thing that they want to resurrect.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to learn about that.
You start seeing all these body parts and wells like in a lab joining together in the Soylent system because they're going there to like seek control of their pain. And so Elly and Faye and Seitan go there and defeat this big monstrous biomass. It's a real Akira scenario, like a big biomassy thing
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Do you do this, or do you just hear about it?
You actually you do fight it.
Okay.
This is an actual a fight in the game, and then Elly. This goes to an anime cutscene. I thought they weren't doing these anymore, but in an anime cutscene, Elly does cut herself with Seitan's new sword that he's decided to bring out because he thought it was unfair to let everyone else do killing. He was only doing like non-killing blows. Now he's like, I'll kill with the rest of you. And she borrows it, cuts herself, and feeds this big biomass a bit of her blood so that it isn't in pain anymore. And
it's the dumbest goddamn scene, and also goes nowhere and nothing happens. What is he? He just dies. She's like, I'm sorry, I can only like solve your wounds, and then it just dies. And we're like,
it
okay,
does
bye.
die, but she does she gives the monsters a good talking to about how they should feel good about themselves and not be bad, and it really works. And she's just like a they realize that she's like a reincarnation of. Everyone started calling her Mother Sophia, like everyone around the world now idolized Elly like she's literally the second coming.
Yeah, she is though. She is quite literally that person.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back. Oh, okay. So the Gazelle Ministry's on the Ezekiel. They aren't on Solaris anymore because Solaris did blow up. And this is pretty great. So here's this cutscene. The last Gazelle Ministry cutscene I'll do. The first and last, this junker. The germinating of those desired to be the body of the servant of God. As before, the humans are gathering in Nisan at this rate. Not to fear. This might actually be helpful to us. The time is near, and we should not prepare for those who are to become the fleshly body of God and those who will awaken God. The time has come to activate the Geisha key. That is Gaetia, Geisha. Suddenly, bolts of electricity come from the screen out of the Soul 9000. What? Kane? What more do you intend to do? I cannot allow you to use the key. Kane, what are you doing? With or without the resurrection of God, our purpose... Without the resurrection of God, our purpose cannot be fulfilled. Or are you planning on perishing with God, Kane, without fulfilling our purpose? Your purpose. You are fated to it from your birth. Why haven't you realized it does not arise from your own free will? I've heard enough. Yes, this will end of our own volition. If you still insist on opposing us... Have you forgotten? You are my subordinate. I can destroy you if I so desire. No! We have already done our part. It is time to pass the helm on to the next generation. The people will not perish. Now, I was giving him a Cobra Commander voice, Emperor Kane. But it turns out he's kind of a good guy, I guess? Question mark? What do you think, Matt? Because he, like,
John,
saves all the people.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I paid attention to that, bud.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. So this is kind of this whole plot line gets interrupted with Faye in a chair saying, so then we found an anima, and then you do a whole anima dungeon. This one wasn't bad.
It's not
This
very
dungeon
long.
was fine. It had a fuse that you put in. It had some puzzles that I just looked up the answer to because I did not want to spend time answering these puzzle questions.
Game does not value your time enough to deserve the time it takes to solve its puzzles.
Yeah. It has like a Sudoku math puzzle thing.
And this one goes to... It's important to note that this animus goes to Billy.
Yes, and it like makes his mech more powerful. Now Renmazu is like super powered. On your way out, you do run into the elements.
The elements? Yeah.
That is
They're fun.
Dominia, Kelvena, Talon, and Seraphina.
They're like a fucking Sentai group. It's fun.
Yeah, I realized that
One has
the
a
last
lion
time.
with wings for a mech. One has a giant flying dolphin for a mech.
And I remember last time I said to Matt, they're going to assemble into a Voltron. I know
They
it.
did.
They do. First, you have to fight them like one-on-one. This fight was a little tricky because it's a lot like the. Do you remember the Delta Sisters in Final Fantasy 4? Well, I guess maybe you haven't played 4. And in 10, they like heal each other.
I remember them. They look like bugs.
Well, in 10, they do. Do they look like bugs in 4? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I feel like they didn't. Anyway. So you got to kill the one that heals them. There's another one that takes all your ether. And starts... Actually, this is a problem the last boss fight with the big melty biomonster. But the game's like, wouldn't it be cool if they don't take damage from elemental attacks or ether attacks anymore? And I'm like, why, game? Why? Like, this doesn't make the fight fun. It just makes it longer. Come on. So that now no bosses take ether damage, so that means like 3/4 of your attacks are pointless. All your latest death blows don't work, and just heal them.
Cool.
Wow, what a great gameplay thing.
Yeah.
Wow, this game really deserves to be called like a undiscovered classic and not just kind of an unfinished piece of garbage.
You're gonna make Owen really mad.
Was
It
Owen
is an
the
unfinished
one?
piece of garbage.
Someone
It's
tweeted that they
unfortunate.
play this like every year.
I think it might be Owen, yeah.
Yeah.
Might be Owen.
Yeah, Owen's like
He's a
Xeno
Xeno head.
boy.
Yeah. So, you fight the elements in their human form, and then they're like, well, you have to fight us in our mech form now. And they do all get into their mechs, which you've noticed are like different animals, and they assemble to form in another, like, Matt, what do you think of this 3-minute robot assembly sequence?
It's pretty fucking great, to be
It's
honest with you.
great.
Like, the
I love
dolphin flies in, the wings come off, the white, it's a white lion with like pink wings and like a pink mane, and the wings come off, and it's great. But again, at this point in the game, you're very much wondering, like, what the fuck are you? Who did this? Why did they make this?
But I like that when the city, like, so the thing that attached to the Yggdrasil wasn't just a mech, it was the entire city was the mech, a bit like Alexander in Final Fantasy 9, where the city
but
becomes...
I don't think it's the city that all the people live in. It
Yeah,
was,
I
like,
think
under
parts
the
of it.
city.
I think it's parts of the city. It's like
think
buildings.
I think it came from under the city. I could be
Okay.
wrong, but
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
I did not get the impression that...
That was what they
was
wanted to
the
blow
city.
up like 28 hours of cutscenes ago.
Who fucking knows?
So you fight them in their robot form. They think that Elly and Faye are weak for wanting to help weak people, but then they discover that the true power isn't in defeating enemies; it's in helping the weak, because they deserve to live just as much as the strong. Huh? Like a whole meek will inherit kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's it. You kind of like the elements. We just leave them. Elly's like, we don't need to kill you. This is fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Is Elly like? She's like Jesus now, right?
Yeah. And then
She's turning the other cheek.
Dominia does hear the Gazelle industry or the Gazelle ministry talk to Miang and talk about killing all the people, and they do suggest that that they kill Cain. And Miang's like, well, you can't kill Cain. He's invincible. And he's like, oh, but one person could kill Cain. Ramses can. And Dominia hears this plan.
Why would Ramses be able to kill Cain?
Well, because Ramses was like created to be equal in power to Cain, so that they could, I guess, so they could have like a check on him. But he wasn't able to fulfill his destiny.
But isn't Cain like biblically immortal? Isn't that Cain's whole thing in like
I
the
guess he
Bible?
is, except
Is
for
that he-
someone
Wait a
who.
minute.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute.
No.
That is not in the Bible.
It
That's
is not. That's like new vampire lore.
Oh, is that? Did I glean that from the Henry Rollins movie where he plays Cain?
You might
Or
have.
maybe from Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, you
where
might have.
Or the
from
Blade
Vampire
movie.
the
Oh,
Masquerade.
that's in that Henry Rollins movie too, where he's
probably
like a
in True
vampire
Blood.
guy, but he's actually Cain.
So Dominia, if you remember, used to be like a regular person. She hears all this. She was listening at the door and goes to warn Ramses. And they're trying to tell her what is happening, and he like pushes them all out of the way. And she was trying to, like, Dominia was trying to explain to Ramses that they're using Ramses. But Ramses is like, whatever, you're just a girl, and shoves her away. So he doesn't get the important message that he's being used.
Listen to women. I always say it. Mm-hmm. Nobody listens to me.
Elly felt drawn back to Nissan because of the... and also Taurus nanomachines totally fixed everybody. Everyone's saved. Everything's great. And and she feels drawn to staying in Nissan and helping. But then suddenly, as she's helping people, a big Omnigear comes, and he starts... it's Ramses, and he's there just so that he can defeat Faye. And then Faye isn't here, but he does come and attack Elly, and he's about to kill Elly, but Margie and all the believers stop him with like the power of their love or something.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand why. He's like, why would this happen? She's like, you're so fixated on Faye because you don't know what she'd be doing with your life, and you're trying to protect yourself by attacking Faye. By attacking Faye, you're confirming your own existence. That's why you strive to be above everyone else. And he's like, no, that's not true. And she's like, no one's actually attacking you. No one's trying to take away what is so precious to you. No one is threatening your existence. It's all in your mind. Don't fear love. And then there's another picture in the background, and it's Krellian and a dark-haired woman looking at a fetus in a tube. And that then cut to the entire Gazelle ministry. I love this scene. They're all negging Ramses. And they're like, you suck so hard. And Miang and Krellian say to Ramses, I mean, you do suck. You are trash. Like, we'll give you that. But if you happen to kill Cain, that's the only thing keeping your powers from being like better than Faye. So if you did happen to like cut Cain's head off like you're a Highlander, that might give you your power back. And Ramses is buying into it, and then you get a great scene of Ramses standing next to Cain and beheading him. It looks like he just cuts his helmet off. It was a weird little cutscene.
Yeah, it is
That's
a
not
weird
his
cutscene.
face. Is that a helmet?
I don't
Well,
know.
the head
Who
is in
knows?
there though. That's what in the helmet when you wear it.
Yeah,
I
it
thought that
does.
was his head though.
Yeah, it looks like his head is left, but apparently he killed him somehow. I don't know. Maybe he just took his
Yeah,
helmet off.
Kills him.
Yep, he dead. So Gazelle Ministry tricks him into killing Cain, basically. And so then they find another another structure, And this is another anima relic ruin, and this is the one with a terrible jump that like has to be precisely done. You can't get a random encounter during it or it fails, and this sucks. But this is the one Matt was talking about where you have to go in and out of your
you go in and out of your mech a bit.
mech
It's fun.
to like, and then you
It's fun
solve
when
some
get to do
puzzles.
that.
The puzzles here were fine. They made sense. They were fun. I had no problem with all the puzzles here. Finally, they made a pretty good dungeon, except for that awful jumping puzzle that should not have been in this game. So they find the other anima relic. Rico happens to be there, which is good because it turns out to be an anima for Rico's gear, powering that up into like super gear power mode.
Yeah.
And then
Just like the more of these they do, the less interesting it is, to be honest with you.
yeah. Then guess who shows up? It's hammer time. Stop. Hammer time.
Yeah.
Hammer's back.
Hammer's back, and he's like, "Hey, it's been a long
brand new-
time."
Sorry for killing your parents back there.
He doesn't apologize to Elly about the parents, but he does. He says that he got some. Krellian gave him super strength, and that's why he's like all mutated. He's like, "Finally, I'm just as powerful as you, bro. Look at me, bro. Isn't this great?" And then he does ask for Elly. And Faye's like, no. And then you defeat him. Well, you don't even defeat him. He just explodes. There's a way you get a like special item if you defeat him before he explodes, but normally he just blows up, and
Because
that's
his
fine.
What is the
power
special item?
overwhelms him.
Yes, it was too much power, and he was growing like into like a super mech thing. He was a giant
Like-
monster.
Like or Akira.
Yeah, like Akira.
Or whatever.
But then he explodes, and then he says goodbye. Oh, also, last thing he does is tell Rico that he's actually the next in line to be the Kaiser of Kislev. And Rico's like, you knew?
Kaiser of Kislev.
He is. He's next in line to be the... Remember that long cutscene 30 hours ago about Rico and his family? That's what it's all about.
Nope.
Kaiser.
Nope.
Anyway, so Hammer says, for a bit player like me, this is probably the end I deserve. And then he falls. He has a Disney death into the chasm. Rico says, Hammer. But I like that he says ham tilde Hammer.
Hammer.
Okay, so Hammer disappeared into the chasm with a look of satisfaction. He was happy when he died for some reason. This is when Cain gets beheaded by Ramses. And then Krellian's happy about that. Now the Gazelle Ministry is happy because they have no one blocking their plans, their objective, which has been the anima relics have been awakened in line with their respective animus. Dan, Joseph, Gad have all been aligned with the surface dwellers, their animus. Dan, does that mean like little Chucky Dan? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. So they also say the identity of the persona mask of the mother has become clear. The time has come. And then so you get a long cutscene of the geisha key going into the like literal key lock under the Gazelle Ministry and turns. And this like turns people into, everyone turns into mutants now. There's like almost
The
everyone.
return of the mutants plotline.
When you say mutants,
Remember how they introduced it?
Yeah.
you mean like Professor Xavier's School for Gifted
No.
Children mutants?
Like
No,
chuds.
yeah, they're more like
Chuds.
ghouls or chuds. They can only kill. Their only hunger is for human flesh because it helps relieve their pain, and everyone's horrified because they've done so much to try and stop this from happening, but it's happening, and they realize. Oh, here's the best part. Faye says to Elly, "Hey, you can't come with us anymore." And Ellie's like, "Why? I can come with you." And she's like, and then everyone's like, "No, you care too much about people, and we're gonna have to fight all the monsters we're going to fight from here on out are going to be composed of like dead bodies or living people mashing together into mechs. So you are too girly to do it. And she's like,
Boo.
what? Yeah, everyone calls him an asshole. He says, here's what he says that really sets her off. I saw them at the facilities, gears that were made out of humans. They were the same as Hammer. Could you now destroy them after knowing this in order to save yourselves? Can you truly say you could kill those who were once our friends? Do you still want to go now, Elly? Well, you can't even kill one person. Your presence would be a burden during the fight. You just get in the way. And she runs off, and everyone's like, Faye, you were too harsh. He's like, I know how she feels. And everyone's like, you got to apologize to her. So Faye goes to apologize to Elly in the one way he knows how.
With his dick.
Yeah. Bow, 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 bow. Roxanne.
He whips that pixel right out.
Yeah, he does. He gives it to her. It's a long scene of just two sprites.
With like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, no dialogue, just
Uncomfortable.
Well, it's Faye in a chair with that happening in the background, and Faye in a chair is like, okay, here I was like stimulating her clitoris, and here, well, this was just for me. This part was just for me here. She seems to be liking that part.
Slapstick.
So they wake up the next day, and everyone's like, so you two have made up. That's great. And she's like, and he's like, forgive me what I said. What I realized was that people need you. The world needs you, and we're going to be in a lot of danger, and that's why you can't come, because you're more important than anyone else.
and she's
I
like,
feel-
you didn't say I couldn't come last night.
Oh! He also, and she says that, and then they both say at first they were in love with each other because they saw the other as a sanctuary for their problems, but now they have confronted their problems head on, and the love they have is a true love. And Faye wants her to be there because he wants a home to come back to. That's what gets her so hot and horny.
That's what a woman loves the best, waiting at home for a man to return from his journey of self-discovery and heroism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Margie's not super into this. She's like, but men are selfish. When something big happens, they say it's too dangerous. You can't come. They treat women like they're weaklings. Although it is true, I can't help Bart and his friends much anymore. Elly says, no, that's not true. Everyone wants something special waiting for them. Someone who will protect a place they can return to. If you don't have that peace of mind, then you would not be able to get anything done.
Ugh.
Men try to fight it out as much as they can and then some. They're cute when they do that, aren't they? Margie says, yeah, you're right. Elly says, anyway, we have things to do now, and while we do them, let's pray that everyone comes back safely. Margie says, to God? Elly, no, to your own innermost feelings that everyone believed in. What's wrong? And Margie reveals that's like the secret thing of their sect, is it's not about God, it's about believing in yourself and your special feelings. And Margie realizes Elly is the second coming. And Ellie's like, yeah, that makes sense, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they get to this McMahon, which is the wreckage of a giant spaceship. There's a long tour around it. You see the word
The one from the
Eldridge.
beginning, right?
It is the one from the beginning.
Yeah.
Driving back
It's
to
called Eldridge. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
They're
it's
really
a fun pun.
hammering that home. Oh, I'm sorry, hammer. I shouldn't say that. It's too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon.
Yeah.
Driving back the Solarian interceptor forces, we took to the floating continent McMahon. It was the central hull of a colossal spacecraft, diameter at least 40 kelts, judging from the condition of the hull. We estimate the ship was thousands of years old. It was determined by examining the wreckage that some kind of accident occurred on the ship about 10,000 years ago, which forced it to crash on our planet. Alien beings that came to our planet from a far-off galaxy eons ago. Could it possibly have been that our ancestors were the passengers on the ship and crash landed here on this planet?
We knew
Seeking
it all.
God. And
In
his
fact,
divine.
it's only
Last
partially
episode.
the truth, so why even get into it? Because we're going to learn a lot more on our next episode.
Hold on. Seeking God and his divine wisdom, Raziel's tree, which
Hard out.
it is
You got
said
9 minutes, bud.
lie here in McMahon. We proceeded further. That's it for this chunker of Square Roots. Next time we finish the stupid game. We're done. We're almost done. And there was a bullshit mini game. It was Sudoku. Don't worry about it.
How's that Patreon vote going?
Yeah, how is that Patreon vote going?
Yeah, how's that Patreon vote going?
Let me look. Posts. We put up a Patreon poll. And sorry, I'm just loading it up right now. That's Sheev's place. Okay, currently in the lead, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes!
Second place, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Third place, Chain of Memories. And fourth place, 358 over 2 days.
Wow, that's got a really small percentage of the votes. 358 over 2 days.
Yeah, no one wants to play that. Everyone's either BBS or KH3.
You would think that Matthew is the one that put Chain of Memories on here, but that's not true. I begged them not to put it on there.
It's true. Well, it's third place, Matt, so you don't I think it's not going to be a
Kingdom
winner.
Hearts 3. Personally, I want to play Birth by Sleep, but I'll be happy with either one. When is this done?
That finishes
5 days.
in 5 days.
On my birthday.
Yeah, it's a Jim's birthday vote. So everyone
Finishes
enjoy
in the
that.
middle of the week after this episode
On
airs.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah,
You still have a
Thursday.
few more days if you haven't voted, or if you want to change your vote to Kingdom Hearts
Yeah,
3.
or talk to your friends. See if you all want to get 358 over 2 days. You're going to have to do some hard work to get that to happen.
Don't do that. Don't listen to him.
Okay. Anyway, so for $1 a month, you get to...
Oh, we forgot to do Squarely Against. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, Squarely Against. Matt, what are you squarely against?
Cutscenes. This game sucks. John, what are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against them releasing this second half. Like, why bother? This is a unfinished, broken game now. Jim, what about you?
I'm roundly for the reasons that you just stated. I think it's real ballsy to release a game this unfinished, and I appreciate their bravery. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for full frontal male nudity in RPGs.
Yay!
Nice.
Oh, there's Breath of Fire. One of the Breath of Fire games, you see like 8 dragon dicks at once. Anyway, that's more of a bad dragon thing. Anyway, so we have a Patreon, as we were alluding to before, for $5 a month. You get to vote in our current poll that's going on, but every game we play this year will be a poll. So, yeah, lots of time to vote and support your favorite podcast. And if you don't want to do $5 a month, you can do $3 a month and get every single bonus episode. The bonus episode this month is on Indigo Prophecy. Instead of The Quarry. It probably should have been The Quarry, but we got so excited by David Cage.
You know what? I had totally forgotten about the Quarry for a long time. Until a few days before release, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the perfect game.
Well, we can multiplayer it next month.
Yeah, that's true.
In July, we can do the multiplayer.
And for $3 a month, you get every single bonus episode, and for $1 a month or more, whatever you want to give, we will thank you at the end of the show, as well as get access to a super secret bonus thing that I did the first episode of that you'll only find out on the Patreon. I hope you all enjoy it. Vanessa, what did you think of my super secret bonus that I gave to the listeners?
I love it. It is higher quality than I expected when you described it.
Yeah.
Just in composition and form. And
I went to
look
film school,
forward-
Vanessa.
Well, I know you say
appreciated.
that, but-
I appreciated that there was a little set.
Yeah, that I bought a little set from a toy store.
Yes, the little set was my favorite part because I kind of expected it to be just like kind of figures on a desk.
Yeah,
but when you had an actual set, I was like, yes, production quality. I
I'm
like
very
that.
impressed by the lighting.
I'm trying to
it
see
really
if
did
I
look
can
great.
get a Dollhouse Lanai for the next one for Galaxy Girls.
That would be great.
I have a dollhouse I need to get rid of, so if you want me to ship it to you, you just let me know.
Oh,
It's
wow.
about 3 feet high.
That's probably too big. I just want a little one. I have a very small apartment.
Think
I
about
just
what
need
you
like a
could do with it.
room.
But it's very thin. It's high. It's tall, but it's not like wide.
I
It's
just
kind of
need a
the-
room. I will find something at Toys R Us for cheap. Anyway, it's because they do
Look
backdrops.
for shitty dollhouses first. You'll find better stuff.
Yeah,
than-
Google shitty dollhouse and see what you find.
Yep.
Look on your like local markets, like Facebook or whatever, for
Yeah.
like
No, those are
garage
roach
sale.
motels, guys.
Oh, no.
Garage
Old-
sale.
An old dollhouse
dollhouses.
from like Craigslist. Ew, that is a roach town. There's gonna
We
be
don't get a lot
all
of
in
roaches
there.
in. I mean, I guess you do in some parts of the city.
I've
don't
seen
know
a
why
roach
you would
in
think that,
Vancouver,
Jim.
BC.
I've seen roaches in Vancouver as well. Anyway, so that's let's get on to our thank and Patreons portion of this podcast. Oh yeah, next time we play till the end of the game. Next time we're finishing the game. Just a heads
Yeah.
Make Jim go
Yay.
first.
Make Jim go first.
Make Jim
Yeah.
go first.
Oh yeah. Okay. I would like to thank Ward Childress, Citra C, Seth G, Kyle, the Virgin Ramses, and the Chad Faye, Hudson Roth, DP 2099. Xenosaga is just the origin story of Robo Vanessa.
Oh.
No pithy profile name this week. I'm on break. David Arnold, RP Siege, Tyler Crump, and Johnny 5 Alive.
Make Matt go next.
Who would you like to thank, Matt?
I would like to thank Brian Pitt. Likes big boats, they cannot lie. Angel, Xenogussie, Robert T, the Virgin Ramses, and the Chad Faye. Eric Garby, Nawford. What level of Manscaped subscription does Rico need? Esteban Gonzalez, Alexander Jokic. Eyeballs, I guess. Crazy eyeballs. Eyeball, crazy eyes. David Green.
All right, Vanessa.
I would like to thank
Oh, sorry, Matt.
Wow, just step all over me. Vanessa, who would you like to thank?
Sergeant Spaghetti. Life is a party, and I am a pinata. You know what really grinds my Xenogears? Jim. Oh my God! Did you see Ben's hat? Ron Ron.
I love that one.
Paul Bursch, the Virgin Ramses and the Chad Faye, Amanda Douglas, Evan Kay, Ross Hartley, Eric Poirier, Mike Klein, and Joseph.
And I'd like to thank Andy Best, Anthony Cruz. Vanessa's mom decides not to fight anymore because she wants to build a home for Vanessa to come to.
Aww.
Florian Jonas Kramer, Zachary Train, Julian Curtis, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, Nathan Poirot, Megan Sullivan, Eric Pidkameni, Jason Timms, Chris Pignac, Ian Frederick, Wishbone is Gay, and the Virgin Ramses and the Chad Faye.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to have an email read on the air, our email address is squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group. It's a Square Roots podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or find us on Twitter @SquareRootsPod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
If you're listening on Spotify and you're wanting to hear more episodes that aren't on Spotify, check out our archive at squareroots.libsyn.com or our Square Roots RSS feed. That means any other podcast thing.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
I'm Batman.
Bye.
The night, it covers me like a cape because I'm Batman.